Hello, everybody, and welcome to Grim Scenarios Plays Blades in the Dark. I am your storyteller, Milk, and with me are my friends Inspiration Follows, Emma, Elle, and Gandaldor. And we are going to be picking up with the second part of our Little Blades in the Dark series. We left off at a pretty interesting place last time. So what I thought we would do is we'd have everybody reintroduce their character and then say something interesting that happened to you in the last session. Inspiration, do you want to start us off?
Sure can. I am playing Ava Shireen, also known as Chime. She has some, arcane abilities that may or may not have come into play last time, wielding some arcane fire to murder some folks, which was exciting. And I believe at the very end, she had kind of spirited away one of the dead bodies on a boat through one of the canals to
Correct.
use for later.
Emma?
Sure. My character is Brenna Skalatlin, also known as Needle. She's a bit of a spy. She's from the recently conquered area of former independent kingdom of Scotland, and she's exiled nobility from there because she does not accept that the war is over. Last time, I threw a knife through someone's face, and they died.
Yeah, you did. Gandaldor, you want to go next?
So, I'm Clink, right? And most of the money what I make is made by selling stuff that falls off the back of other people's wagons. Don't tell nobody that, though. Don't tell nobody. It's good quality stuff. But recently, I've been irked and troubled by this lot, naming no names in particular, shooting at my customers. And some of them fought back, and I had to shoot them, which was really sad, because that's money. It's out of pocket, that is. Nah, I can't be having that. No.
Those weren't your customers. Those were people trying to kill you.
They were alive. You can salt them, all right?
Not anymore. Elle?
Yeah, I am playing Noir. He has another name, but it's none of your business. Last time, we saw Noir doing a lot of tattooing, which is his profession aside from being a career criminal, and making some moves with the other underworld characters, like Tryon Volk, the leader of the Land Blacks, who was a big part of our session last time. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. And last time, we did end up in a tough spot. There was a bit of a fight, and you ended up getting away on a stolen gondolier's boat, and making your way back to Norse Tattoo Parlor, which is your headquarters, so to speak. But what we didn't cover last time at the end of the session is downtime activities. And so between scores, your characters get a chance to have some downtime activities and to do various different things that they might do before the next score. Obviously, you might have an interest in maybe getting back at the Red Sashes for setting you up in this way, and an opportunity to do that might come up in today's session. But before then, you're going to be able to prepare your characters in a variety of ways. You can attempt to acquire an asset, so that would be some sort of useful special item, or potentially like an expert to help you with something, or a gang of assistants to help you with something. You might be able to acquire a vehicle, or even to hire the services of someone to help you out. You can engage in a long-term project, probably for the purposes of this little campaign. That's not going to be super useful, but you could do that if there were things that you wanted to do in that direction. For example, if Inspiration's character Chime wanted to commune with the spirit of the of the dead lost gang member, that might be something that would take some time to set up and prepare. You can recover, which is to seek treatment and heal your harm. That's genuinely something you should do if you've been injured, and a few of you have been harmed in various different ways. And you can start your healing clock, depending on if you have access to a healer or not. Might be the kind of services you might be trying to acquire with Attain Asset. You can attempt to reduce your crew's heat by engaging with the police in various ways. Again, probably not super necessary for this little campaign. You can train. When you spend time training, you can just mark 1 XP on the track for an attribute. So if you're very close to a playbook advancement, you can use train to get yourself there, which is helpful. Or you can indulge in your vice. Everyone in this game has a vice, and you can engage with your vice to relieve stress that you have on your character sheet. I imagine some of you may want to do that because you did gain some stress in the previous game. So usually what I like to do with this is I like to go through everybody once and then go through everybody a second time, doing downtime activities. So would anybody like to start us off? Does anybody have something that they're pretty sure that they want to do with their downtime?
Well, I do.
What's up, Clink?
Yeah. So on the way back from our last job, I fished out of the canal this oily old cloak. I've dried it off. I'm going to pawn that for a few bob down the shop, and whatever I get back from that, we're going to and so on, and this item into this pocket change, into this item into this pocket change, etc. In the desperate attempt to get the fortune that I know is coming. And it's not going to work, but it'll calm me down.
All right, that sounds like you're going to try to indulge in your vice.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so when you indulge in your vice, you get to clear some stress. Normally, you would indicate what purveyor of vices you use to satisfy your needs. Usually, you have a particular purveyor that you go to, and you might have different ones, and you could lose access to them if the police arrest them or things like that. The Bluecoats arrest them, rather. But for our purposes, in this little campaign, it sounds like your stress relief is going to largely be going between various different vendors and bartering and selling different things. So the way that you indulge in your vice is that you make an attribute roll using your character's lowest attribute rating.
Oh, that's 2.
Yep, it's your weakest quality that is most enthralled to your vice.
Oh, an even spread. Oh. Thank goodness.
So you clear stress equal to your highest die result, and if you clear more stress than your die result, or if your die result is higher than the amount of stress you have, then you overindulge and stuff happens, which is the best part of this system.
Well, if I clear more than I can get on 2d6, something's wrong with
Very
these
good.
d6. I get 5 back. Amazing.
All right, great. So you clear 5 stress. Who wants to go next?
I can go.
Nobody.
I can go.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does Chime want to do in downtime?
I think this would be potentially like trying to gain an asset, but I wanted to follow up with that dead body of the I believe it was one of the lost ex-soldier bodies that was supposed to be there.
That was the one that you spirited away.
Yeah, and I think I might like try to commune with their spirit as they kind of like cross that threshold from being a dead body into potentially turning into something worse.
Okay. Well, I think it's either acquire an asset or it's a long-term project, depending on what you want to get out of it. But we could certainly do a long-term project roll that's resolved fairly quickly, just for the purposes of this campaign.
Yeah, I was thinking of it more in just trying to get a sense of like how they died specifically, and kind of being able to use that to perhaps like prep for what we might see.
Oh, yeah, I think that's pretty good. So like so normally acquire an asset is actually like a thing or a person or a service.
An item. Mhm.
But I think what we can do is say, I think what the most interesting thing here would be is if you rolled with a tune,
Mhm.
and then I'll provide you with some advantage in the upcoming session based on that. So we'll treat it kind of like a cross between a acquire asset and a long-term project.
Okay. Awesome. 2d6. That is a 4 and a 2, so 4 is the highest.
Okay. So let's come back to this, but let's say you are able to commune with the body and get something useful out of it. I think that's the most interesting way, and maybe there might be a drawback involved as well.
Okay.
But I think that's the most useful way to approach it.
Awesome.
Okay. Needle or Noir? Any downtime activity you want to engage in?
Yeah, I can go next. I would like to indulge my vice. As I understand it, you get an extra die for the roll if you do it with a friend or contact. Is that
correct?
Okay. In that case, I would love to have a little scene with Needle if she would join me for a cigarette.
Sure.
All right, let's set up that scene. Where is this going to be? Probably in the tattoo parlor, maybe just outside?
Yeah, I think maybe... last time we described the tattoo parlor as being sort of attached to a pub, so I'm imagining there's a sort of busy kind of back alley where ne'er-do-wells like us skulk around often.
I like that.
And yeah, and I think I'm between clients, and I'm out there sparking up one of my custom cigarillos from Traven, who is my tobacco dealer. So if Needle is out there with me, she will see me pull a small box, really fancy looking, like almost like a leather box with like gold embossed letters showing that it's from Traven's shop. And I'm, pulling out my cigarette very gingerly. This is all very like ritualistic almost. Like this is the thing I have to do to calm me down. Do you want one?
Sure, I'll take a cigarette.
Not just a cigarette. It's a cigarillo from Traven's. Very expensive, though. I suppose to someone like you that doesn't matter.
If you say
Silver
so.
spoon and all.
Well.
Well, here's something else to fill your mouth then. And I'll toss you a cigarette.
Nita will smoke the cigarette. It's nothing special to her.
I'm imagining that the first few puffs of the cigarette feel like normal. It's just like a tobacco cigarette, but then there's like something else that's happening. It's not quite that you're getting high. It's more like the way the smoke from the end of the cigarette moves around you seems to create like a strange sort of illusion. I think this is a kind of special cigarette that sort of kind of gives almost physical form to your memories through the smoke. So as the haze sort of grows around us in the alleyway, Noir is seeing, these vague images of his former life in Scotland. And I imagine Needle is seeing much the same, though probably different, very different types of images.
Yeah. Needle's visions are, but I imagine different from Noir's, but they're, yeah. She's probably remembering scenes of the surrender and the other hot firebrand nobles who refuse to go quietly.
What's a shared memory, a scent, or a feeling that you might both experience that's related to your lives in another place? Something that isn't replicated here. Something that if you smoked this cigarette in Scovlin would have felt different. Something you both notice.
I'm wondering if the sort of illusory nature of the cigarette almost transforms the sound of the chatter that we're hearing in the alleyway, like people are talking in Akarosi mostly, but we begin to hear it as like the old language of Scotland. Like maybe like not even the kind of contemporary form of the language, like the kind of ancestral form that no one actually speaks, but like it's almost like it's connecting us in a much deeper way to our heritage, the thing that Needle's been fighting for. What do you think about that, Emma?
Yeah. My understanding of Scotland is that it's also in the far north. So it's probably colder and a colder environment. So sort of sense associated with that, like pine and the such. Maybe.
Yeah, I like that. So go ahead and make your roll, Noir.
Sure. So I think by default I would be rolling 1, but with Needle's presence here. 2. Okay. That is a 5, and that is actually more stress than I have to clear.
All right. So you have overindulged. This moment is so enthralling and so engaging that some sort of bad decision results, and the bad decision that comes from an overindulgence is something you get to pick. You can either attract trouble, in which case we'll add an entanglement, which we'll use in this upcoming session. You can brag about your exploits, which just generates heat. You can end up lost, and your character just disappears for a few weeks. Or you can end up tapping out your purveyor. You can no longer get access to this source for your vice and need to find a new source. I might suggest that just because this is a short campaign, you may not want your character to get lost.
I was thinking the same. I think attracting trouble could be interesting.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'll let you roll the entanglement. So the crew's current heat is from 0 to 3. So just hit me with a d6.
Cool. 6.
Oh. Well, sometimes things happen. Cooperation. A higher status faction is going to ask you for a favor, and you will have to either agree to do it or forfeit reputation with that faction. So we'll get around to that. I'll swing that into the story when we get around to it. All right. Let's see. That just leaves Needle for the first downtime action.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll try to reduce heat.
That sounds good.
There.
Sure. So
nothing else seems super valuable to Brenna right now.
So if you recall the previous session, one of the outcomes, one of the resulting consequences of something that happened for your crew is that Clink was impersonating a police officer using his disguise, and due to a consequence of that action, you actually have a clock running called "It's a Fair Cop." So that clock is going to build up over time to get the crew into trouble with the Bluecoats and generate a bit of heat. So what I'll say is, if you want to reduce heat, I will, instead of reducing the crew's current heat, I will close that clock. If you make a successful attempt to essentially.
Yeah,
to
that
clear you.
seems reasonable.
So how would you go about helping your friend Clink out of his "I have impersonated a police officer" problem?
I think you'd try to go and persuade the Bluecoats that everything was fine and there was no police impersonation. Ideally,
that sounds like the kind of thing you could do. So this would be generally it's going to be consort or command, one of those kind of things that is probably quite strong for you. So what do you want to roll and what are you thinking? So you're going to head into police. You're going to head into the local Bluecoat station and just chat up the sergeant.
yeah, why not?
Sounds good to me. Sounds like consort to me.
Yeah, it sounds like consort. They're not that different. Consort and command are both 1, and sway is 2, but I don't think this is sway.
I think it would be hard to sway him without, some effort. Anyway, go ahead and give us a roll, and let's see what happens.
That's a 1.
Okay. So you can't fail this roll because it's a downtime activity. But what I'm gonna say is, he's less impressed than he could be. We're gonna reduce your crew's heat by 1, but we're not gonna clear the clock.
That makes sense.
And that's everybody having done a single downtime activity. So usually we do 2 downtime activities for everybody. So we'll just go around one more time. I think something that might be useful to think about is using acquire asset. If there's something, for example, that you currently have that might be useful to keep, like a boat that you've stolen, acquire asset can help you either rearrange that into a different vehicle or get something of temporary use, as well as like if you want to acquire the help of an expert who might be able to help you get revenge on the red sashes. Lots of different options for you. But does anybody have an idea of something else that they would like to do? I think Clink may have something rather important that he wants to do.
Well, I've given it some thought. There's a few things. I could try and clear up those gunpowder burns, but I think what we need is muscle. I think we need some people who are beefier than me to get some gunpowder burns instead of me next time.
That seems smart. So this is going to succeed. Again, downtime activities can't fail. So tell me about how Clink is going to go about hiring some muscle, and who are you going to go to? Is there any specific group that you're going to try to try to bring on board, or are you just going to look for some heavies at the local drinking hole?
Drinking hole heavies, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
See if I can find anybody who looks like a bouncer who's not at work at the moment, and just slide some extra cash over, that sort of thing.
All right, that sounds good. So one of the cool things about Blades in the Dark is that you can spend coin on a whole bunch of different things, but in this specific case, because this is just an acquire asset action, you're not required to actually spend any of your real resources. You're spending your downtime activity to get this benefit. So just maybe mark down somewhere for Clink that you have hired some bouncers. We'll call them bouncers. You've hired a little gang of bouncers to help with something that you might need. It's referred to as a cohort, so you can define the cohort later. You can define it as like one big guy or like a couple of tough guys, or whatever's useful in the narrative later on. All right, anybody else? Got one more downtime activity for Chime, Needle, and Noir.
Oh, chime in at once.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to decide whether I want to like permanently acquire the boat for us, or sort of pointlessly engage in my vice. Because I only have 3 stress, so like more likely than not, I'm going to it's more likely that I'm overindulging if I do that than I am. But that seems more fun, so I'll engage in my vice. I'll try to do something for for the Scotland Revolutionaries.
That sounds great. What
The
sort of
cigarette probably inspired me.
what sort of a thing? What sort of a thing do you want to do for the Scotland Revolutionaries?
Oh, probably, let's try to sabotage something of importance to the Imperial authorities. Maybe, a police station or a barracks or something.
Okay. Are we talking like full destruction, or are we talking an inconvenience?
Yeah, let's try to poison a police captain or
Okay.
something.
All right, that sounds like indulging your vice for sure. So it's your
Not
lowest
bad for
attribute.
downtime.
So it's your lowest attribute rating.
Yeah, that's 1 die.
All right. If you do it with someone else, you can add a die. You could also spend coin to add a die if you wanted to. But I think it's more fun this way.
Yeah, I'll just do it by myself.
That sounds
We'll
good.
see what happens here. Ooh, I rolled a 5, so yeah, I overindulged here.
Exciting.
I do clear all 3 of my stress, though, right?
You clear all of your stress. I think you have definitely poisoned. I think you've definitely poisoned the police captain to death.
Maybe some other people at the precinct too.
Yeah, some other Bluecoats have gotten very ill. It's bad coffee or something. What would you like the result of your overindulgence to be? Would you like to attract trouble? Would you like to brag about your exploits? Or would you like to be tapped? We'll just leave Lost out because I think you probably want to play in this session.
Yeah, we can attract trouble. I think that's always the best choice here.
All right, give me a d6 and let's see what sort of entanglement shows up.
5.
A 5. Okay. A 5 is rivals. A neutral faction throws their weight around, or the unquiet dead. And I think the unquiet dead is quite a useful one. So the unquiet dead will be making an appearance in this score as well. Yeah, I think I have a good idea for that. So
Hopefully.
so yeah, I'll just make a note of that. All right. So that's your stress taken care of there. Chime or Nor, do you have a second one you want to go for?
I also have 3 stress. And I think with all of the overindulgence of our group, I think I'm not going to try to clear
do it. We could get more problems.
I think I'm going to try to convert that boat into something we can use. And I think in doing so, Ava, her parents are Eruvian diplomats who just kind of turn a little bit of a blind eye to everything she's doing, as long as she's not thoroughly disrupting the peace. And I think she begrudgingly is going to approach her father and attempt to get the boat cleared so that it seems like it's part of a diplomatic fleet and might potentially not be able to be recaptured.
I think that's probably also a kind of a long-term project type thing, but we're just going to treat it as acquire asset for this. And so you have the boat now. You have
Yay.
retained possession of the boat. Your crew has a boat. So congratulations, boat. And that just leaves Noir.
Yeah, I'm over here being very indecisive. I was thinking of acquiring an asset as well, but we already have some heavies, we have the boat. The only other thing I can really think of is to try to get Tryon officially on side, which could be useful, but the Lamplax are also kind of heavies, so it might be redundant. What do people think?
I mean, I think he'd be fairly willing, considering we basically saved his life last time. Not bad to have more allies.
Yeah, I mean, he better be.
So I think normally I would treat that like a long-term project to acquire not as an acquire an asset, because it would because acquire an asset's temporary. So I actually think you can just add him to your character sheet as a friend.
Oh, cool.
Yep. So I think we're just going to say that you spend the time with Tryan to make him a friend, and so he's available to you as a friend now. Between the two of you, you kind of get on well and sort of things. So.
Yeah, I have that tattoo to finish.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we have quite a few sessions left.
That's
Look,
it. That sounds good. Yeah,
he was probably already mostly there. We chose not to kill him. We saved his life. We abandoned our plans to murder him.
Mm-hmm. That sounds about right. All right, so just one final thing to note. In the downtime in between, I'm going to clear the clock found by the Death Seekers. That was a clock that was largely related to what you were doing in the last session, so we don't need that clock anymore. There might be some new clocks that show up this time. It's been about 2 weeks since you escaped from the ambush set for you by the Red Sashes. And you brought Tryan back to your hideout. Quickly contacted your friends at the Lampblacks. Clink's buddies Biggs and Wedge came. They are dumb and tough, as you might recall. And they came. They got Tryan back to the Lampblacks headquarters. Got him some medical treatment, and the Lampblacks are in your debt. They consider you friends. In a typical campaign of Blades in the Dark, your reputation with the Lampblacks would have increased substantially following that previous encounter. For our purposes, the Lampblacks contact you about 2 weeks later. 2 weeks of you licking your wounds, indulging in your vices,
Poisoning, please.
listening out around town, figuring out what's going on, looking for a way to get yours back. The Red Sashes don't come after you again. The Lost don't come after you again. You don't hear much going on in Duskvol for 2 weeks. It's strangely quiet around the city. So when there's a knock at your door one late evening, just as Noir is finishing up with his last customer, it's unsurprising to you to see your friend, the imposing figure of your friend Tryan, at the door. His arm is still hanging in a sling. His body is clearly, he's hunched still a little bit, still sore from his injury, but looking more vigorous than the last time you saw him. Do you mind if I come in, friends? I have some news to share with you. He comes in, you all settle in. He takes a deep breath. How would you like to get a little bit of revenge against the Sashes for that ambush they set for us? I know I do. But unfortunately, I'm not really in the right shape to take care of it. Might even come out of this with some pretty substantial coin in our pockets if we do things right. See, I heard through various sources that the Sashes are trying to move some different products. You caught on to this. We talked about it last time. It's a narcotic, something new that hasn't been seen around before. Something that's being brought in from outside of the city. Something from the Badlands. Something to do with the dead. Turns out, The shipments are coming in by train. And the Sashes have been working with the railjacks who operate those trains to move cargo around the city. I don't know where the train is that's got the product on it, but I've got a carriage number. It's been hidden somewhere around the city, moved out of the rail yards, along the tracks, and it's been left somewhere. If we can figure out where it is, not only can we take their product, we can probably make a mighty coin off of selling it ourselves. Now, me and the Blacks will take care of the sales. We just need your help finding the product. And that sounds like the kind of job that your crew is cut out for. What do you say?
Well, you know, for a minute there, I thought you were going to arrange for a train robbery. That sounds a lot more doable, honestly.
I don't know where the carriage is, and I don't know if it's attached to a locomotive. All I know is that it's hidden somewhere in the city.
I'm pro getting citizens of the Empire hooked on new and dangerous narcotics.
From what I hear, it's pretty bad stuff. Makes you go a bit angry in the head if you overdose.
That sounds quite
I see.
familiar.
You have some experience with this?
Maybe. One of the guys who fought us last time might have been on that. Sounds familiar? He's fuming.
They are using the loss to protect some sort of distribution, but I don't really know much about it.
He only pointed a gun at him. He's about to get that angry.
The more concerning thing is how all these gangs are working together from all over the city. Most of the time, gangs take on scores on their own. It's strange to see so many of them working together. But given that the Sashes were pushing on us so hard and pushing on our territory, it's possible that wherever this carriage is being stored, it's someplace that we would have access to. Rail lines run through a lot of the old city, though, so it's tricky to figure out where it might be. The best guess I can give you is that it's somewhere in Coleridge, largely because that's where a lot of the supplies that are used at the rail yard and the rail station come from. That's where they're stored. There's plenty of old rail lines going through Coleridge that could easily be used to hide any kind of train on an old set of tracks, at a dead end, some old drop-off point that's no longer in use. But there's too much gang politics involved in getting a lot of guys anywhere in that area to try to look around. At least, not for long enough to find it.
Why do this instead of going after my layout directly? An eye for an eye, or arm for an arm, as the case might be.
Yeah, the Sashes hideout is pretty well fortified. It's got walls. We could get into street fights with their guys anywhere in the city. It's just going to draw the attention of the Bluecoats. Just going to draw more problems with other gangs. And if there's some coalition of Sashes, the Lost, Railjacks, Gondoliers, who knows who's involved. I don't really particularly want to get in the middle of any of that. start a mess with all those groups, everyone's going to be in trouble.
No, but we're friends with the Bluecoats. And Noir gives a penetrating look at Clink.
Ain't nobody friends with the Bluecoats.
Okay, so we get the supply. We take it for ourselves. I suppose you and your people want to cut.
Well, I thought the easiest solution, since your crew's fairly small, would be we'll take the product off your hands, pay you for it. Let's say 6 coin. And, of course, it would further our friendship. And we would do the distribution part. You're welcome to keep some product for yourselves if it's something you think you can use, of course. But widespread distribution is probably beyond your means, and might be beyond us as well. But we have other contacts that we could use to get it around the city. We'd make the profit back eventually. And more importantly, it would hurt the Sashes. They'd lose their stash. And all of the buyers who they've lined up ain't gonna be too happy when they can't provide the product. I think we hurt them more by cutting their purses than by cutting their throats.
Mm-hmm.
For once, someone agrees.
I'd
Right.
rather
Not
the
bad.
throat, but I see your logic.
You might get a chance to cut some throats anyway. I mean, I don't know. You'll have to sort that out. What do you say? You don't have to answer now, but
Sounds good to me.
since we're friends,
I know I'm in.
Yeah, I like the sound of it. You're making money.
Yeah, that
think-
seems reasonable.
Noir is
Well-
looking towards Chime, like waiting for her go to, because she's like the rational and reasonable mind that he trusts in the crew.
I think putting a little bit of a spanner in the works for our friend at the Sashes is just desserts. I think
Sounds
also perhaps I'm willing to let you all move all the product. Maybe instead of us keeping a bit for ourselves, perhaps we just get some influence of where we might want to direct it in the future at some point.
yeah, I think we can arrange something like that. And if you find out where it's coming from, that would be a big benefit.
Sure, if we can control the source, we get the whole outflow.
You got it. I'll leave you all to sort out the details. Good to see you again. Let me know if we can be of any assistance. All right, crew. Seems like you're going to have to do a little bit of investigation before the score. So, how do you want to go about finding at least a very likely location for this train carriage?
Well, I didn't get to call upon her for my advice during my downtime. I do have some connections with Salia, who is a wandering spirit who likes to jump from person to person, district to district, around the city. And perhaps she might have jumped into someone who saw something interesting at some point.
That sounds like it could be very likely. Why don't we go ahead and make an information roll and see what happens here? You of course are going to be, I think probably using your attune
Mhm.
to communicate with the dead.
Yep. Cool. Highest on that is a 3. It is not working out so well for me.
Okay. You can't, information moves still provide information even if you roll a 3. It's just the level of information that you're going to get. So ask a question of the spirits, and I'll let you know how they respond.
I think he mentioned specifically that it might not be connected to a locomotive. So I think I'm asking specifically if you've seen a train carriage where it typically doesn't belong. Perhaps far away from like a usual railroad store.
The spirit reaches into you as you meditate and try to commune with her. She reaches into you, and for a moment she attempts to sort of jump into your body and take up that space. And something in you, something in your nature as a whisper doesn't quite want to allow that. Doesn't quite want to allow this invasion of yourself. It's your job to speak to spirits and to listen to spirits as well, but not to give them a place to stay. And so as she sort of tries to move into you, you naturally resist it and you naturally hesitate. But there's a sort of a brief impression that comes across of what seems like an old junkyard, a place that has lots of big metal bits and stuff from before the calamity laying around, and people have thrown their waste there, and you just sort of, just in the impression, you get a sense of a couple of train cars, not on tracks anymore, maybe tipped over on their side, things like that. Somewhere in Coleridge, and somewhere that's probably not well traveled, not in the center of the district, somewhere around the edges, maybe near the quarry.
I kind of like shake off the feeling this is definitely not the first time that Sally has attempted this, and I kind of like curse and shake my fist as she retreats off to find her next victim. But I will relay that to my team. I'm not super familiar with the streets of Coleridge, but if there is such a junk pit, all kinds of weird stuff ends up there that people don't really question. Be a good place to start.
Does anyone else want to try to gather information on the location? You have a little bit of an idea of where you might be.
Yeah. I think I could probably see if I can make some friends around some bars near where the quarry workers might hang out after work.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Shut them up.
Yeah, that would be a neighborhood called Hargate, which is near the coal mine.
All right.
You find a little pub. What's the name of the pub? Anybody have a good name for this little drinking hole for coal miners?
Ooh,
Just sedimentary.
The sedimentary. All right, you hang around in the sedimentary for a while. What kind of, you just listening in for the coal workers? What are you listening for?
Yeah, I think do a similar sort of thing that I did last time. Buy a few pints, scratch a few backs, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just see if anyone's heard any trains.
Yeah. You think that's probably consort or sway?
Like ideally consort, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Sounds
the
about right to
Chilean
me.
people.
Yeah. I think that sounds right to me. Go ahead. Let's have a roll.
6.
You get listening. You get talking to the workers, and sure enough, one of them mentions that a few cars every so often are shifted onto some old tracks that head up Crane Street toward an old junkyard at the north point of Coleridge. It's hidden behind a few blocks of old warehouses, and it's slightly lower than the rest of the. It's slightly lower than the rest of the town, sort of as if it was sort of cut out of the sort of corner of the island, and so it's not usually watched very closely. The yard is surrounded by tall fences, and nobody really goes there. They're not sure why train cars get rerouted there, though, because there's really nothing there, and there's no reason why you would take a car full of useful goods out Crane Street toward that old district. There's, just vagrants and junkyards. All right. It seems like you have a pretty good idea of where the train car might be. Is there any other information you want to gather before we hop in?
Yeah, I'd like to try to infiltrate the Red Sashes and gain some information about security and what we can expect on the train car.
That sounds great. How do you want to approach this? Do you actually want to try to go to the yard? Do you want to go to a Red Sash hangout?
Probably a Red Sash hangout where I can try to, do something similar to last time. Drink or seduce someone to get them talking.
Okay. You remember that the last time you were able to seduce a gondolier sub-boss named Brace, who seemed to know more than he was letting on. And even though he's not one of the Red Sashes, the Sashes are probably onto your crew specifically, but he probably isn't. And you might be able to get some information out of him.
Yeah, but I have a fine disguise
I can't
kit.
hear you.
I have a disguise kit.
Mhm.
Let's try to go to the sources. Let's try to disguise myself and get information directly from the Red Sashes rather than the gondoliers.
All right, sounds good. So you're gonna head into a Red Sash hideout. I think think the approach is pretty believable. Let's see how things go. Why don't you give me what are you trying to do here? Is it consort or sway? What are you thinking?
I think sway, probably. Not just because it has the most dice, but sort of I'm trying to convince someone, trick them into giving me information they're not supposed to.
What's your disguise here? Are you scaling yourself up or down? What do you kind of
scaling myself up, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Presenting myself as a potential investor in Red Sash businesses.
Excellent. This is probably not something where you would go to one of their training halls, but rather a place, maybe one of the places where the Red Sash sub-bosses and leaders are known to hang out near their headquarters. Maybe a nicer cafe where they meet with business associates.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Let's see what you can find out.
And this is 2 dice with sway.
Mhm.
Well, that was a 3 and a 1. So.
All right.
All that work.
It's a whole lot of work for an amount of information. Unfortunately, you can't quite get in with a Red Sash boss that's willing to talk much about Coleridge. But you do come across a slightly disgruntled Red Sash sub boss, one of their trainers.
I can't push myself on the information.
teaches Eruvian swordsmanship at their headquarters. And as you engage with him in a conversation, he starts complaining about the influx of unskilled fighters that they've had to bring in due to a shortage of more noble and skilled students around the hall.
Okay.
He says, specifically says to you, these thugs are more use with a knife and a club than they are with a sword in their hand. They barely know which end to swing.
All right. Well, I don't want to spend too much time with these people. They might accidentally hit me with a sword.
You do, like, a duel breaks out in the middle of you being there, and you quietly make your exit. So that's left us with Noir. Noir, did you want to try to gather any information about this situation?
I think so, yeah. Tryon was saying that it might be useful to know where the narcotic comes from, or what it exactly is, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I have a contact, a noble named Rosalind Kellis, and I think it would be cool if we established her as a railway heiress.
That sounds great.
And I imagine that the railway company, they must know about the missing carriage. There's no way a carriage went missing and they didn't notice, right? So I think I want to try to see if I can get some information from her about maybe the route that carriage was on. That might tell us where the source of the narcotic might be, something like that. Yeah.
Where do you meet her?
I think. Yeah, I think Noir is a big ol' hypocrite, and I think despite all of his needling of Needle about her station, Rosalind is actually he wouldn't describe her as his girlfriend, but they are meeting together for rendezvous late at night, that sort of thing. He scales the walls of her mansion.
Amazing.
And perhaps they are in bed having a little cigarillo together, and he's engaging in some very strange pillow talk.
A little bit of pillow talk about trains.
Yeah.
All right. I think this using a contact in this way is pretty good. What's the question you want answered? I guess I'll say it that way.
The question is, yeah, broadly, what train route was the carriage on, and I guess also whether they've had any sort of trouble with criminal activities within the ranks of the Railjacks. Just kind of. I wish I had a more specific question than that, but whatever you want to give me is fine.
I'm just gonna go ahead and give you the answer to this because I think it's interesting. Oh, honey, those thugs are always wrapped up in some criminal mess here or there. They're all over the city, but if you want to know where things are coming from outside the city, the Ministry of Preservation, they're responsible for all transport between cities. And if there's something moving from outside of Duskvol into Duskvol, they're gonna know about it. As for how a carriage can go missing, sweetheart, carriages go missing all the time.
Why do you seem so elated by that?
Where do you think my fortune comes from? Do you think everything my family has built has been legitimate?
I've never thought that about any wealthy person. Sweetheart.
Between the scavengers who roam the Deathlands looking for strange things from before the world changed. To the merchants around the city. Everyone in Duskvol is wrapped up in something. You should be careful what you get caught up in. Anything that comes out of the Deathlands is much more dangerous than even the most terrifying gangs in the city. I've seen things out there you wouldn't believe.
You're giving me this warning like you care what happens to me.
I mean, I haven't thrown you out, have I?
I think when she gestures around and War like kind of looks at, you know, the beautiful like molding on the walls and the portrait of her that's, you know, up on the wall staring back down at him, and all of these like markers of extraordinary wealth and consumption, he like suddenly feels really disgusted. This happens every time he comes here. But
That seems right.
but he has to do it, right? And he says, well, you don't have to. It's time for me to go. And he just like abruptly starts getting out of bed and putting his clothes on, and yeah.
I think you might, as you go, you might wonder how many noirs are in this particular noblewoman's life.
He tries not to think too much about that. He knows he's not the only.
All right. Well, we have a good idea about what's going on in the city. We have a little bit of an idea of what's going on in this place. The big question that we need to ask now is, what is your approach going to be? If you recall, you have 6 approaches you can take. You can assault. You can use deception. You can use stealth. You can try using the occult. You can use society, or you can use transport. And when you do that, I'll ask you for a specific detail, and then we'll choose the load limit for the operation, and we'll hop right in. So, how do you could discuss this amongst yourselves, you should. How do you want to approach this problem? This hidden carriage in an old junkyard, guarded by lowly experienced red sash gangbangers, and that may have a connection to something bigger outside the city.
I'm tempted to go with transport. So like we arrive in carriage or something like that, because we don't know how much stuff we're stealing off them. And it might be nice to have something to put it in so we can rapidly escape with it.
That seems reasonable.
Okay.
We do have our boat, and if this junkyard is on the edge of the district, presumably it would be fairly close to a canal.
Everybody
Yeah.
good with using transport as your approach? All right. Then the detail I'm going to need from you is the route, and I'm not going to ask you for a specific sort of pathway, but as Inspiration mentioned, you do have a boat. So what I'm going to ask is, what sort of a route? Describe to me the route you want to take. Is it sort of winding? Do you use, I assume if you're going to use the boat, you're going to have to use the canal system. Are you going to use heavily traveled waterways? Are you going to try to use back canals, sort of narrower waterways? Describe to me the route you want to take with the goods.
My thought is we'd want to, once we have the goods, we'd want to start on sort of the narrower back alley waterways, and then cut back into a main route a little bit ways away, so we can try to blend in with other transports, with other boats at that point.
our boat is a gondola, so in terms of like speed, it's probably not super fast, but in terms of like silentness, it's just being pull pushed essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So I think those kind of narrow back paths make sense until maybe we can find a bigger ship to kind of slip behind.
Well, if we're in a gondola and the gondoliers have like established routes through the city, does it make sense for us to just go on one of those routes, like kind of blend in plain sight?
Yeah.
That works for me.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Well, you wait until all of you have gathered back together, and pile into your gondola, quietly pulling your way through the narrow canals to approach the Coleridge district. Coleridge's district is most of the districts in Duskvol are islands, but Coleridge's district is particularly island-like in that it's surrounded on all sides by rivers, specifically, not just canals. And so, as you sort of come out of the canals and look across towards Coleridge, you can see this old junkyard. It's bigger than you expected, and you can see it right along the water line. And it is in fact sort of the water line is lower there. There's no piers or pilings here. It literally just the water just laps up against the sand on the side of on one edge, on the north edge of the junkyard. And so you're literally able to silently pull your gondola across. There's some traffic up and down river. There's some larger boats here as well, but you're sort of able to quietly pull your gondola across to the sand and pull it up right into the old junkyard. You see the lamplight of a few patrols of one or two men. Odd in a place this abandoned and far from the bustle of the city. And in that light you can see the red sashes wrapped around their upper arms. You don't see the silhouette that is usually accompanying Eruvian swordsmen of the long, narrow blade hanging from their side. Instead, these guards are equipped with truncheons, maybe daggers, hard to say, perhaps a firearm here and there, a pistol, or even a long gun. But you can see rail lines running through an old gate that hangs half open and coming down through the center of this junkyard to a quite brightly colored orange carriage. You don't know much about trains, but it looks like a cargo carriage. Detached, no locomotive attached to it. And as you watch, you can see the guards' patrol goes near and around the carriage. As you watch 1 second longer, you see a shadow on top of the carriage shift. Someone is laying there on top of the carriage. What do you want to do? You're still silently set along the shoreline here.
You haven't picked loads yet.
Ah, yes, thank you. You haven't picked your load, so everybody's welcome to select their load. Thank you for the reminder. And since you reminded us, Clink, what's your load gonna be?
Well, I've got some big chunky backup, so I think I'm gonna go, rather than being heavy last time, I think I'll lean on the beefiness of my companion or companions, or so I'll just go normal.
Yeah, so let's define that cohort really quick as well. So you're going to take a normal load, which is 5 items. Let's define this cohort. Do you want what do you want them to be?
I've been thinking about that for a while.
Yeah, they're going to be in the. I think they could be in the gondola with you, or you could have set them up elsewhere to do something else.
I think.
And you don't have to decide right now, but let's think about who they are.
Yeah, I think my cohort is going to be a chap called Bert, and where Clink is short and underfed, Bert is extremely large, and extremely wide.
Excellent.
And I think Bert's just about smart enough to understand the concept of being paid to work, but also just dumb enough that he could kind of point to a guy and say, he said something nasty about your mum, and Bert would go, "You what?" and then slowly roll over to that guy and then dismantle him.
All right, let's give him the tags strong and single-minded. All right, so he's your temporary cohort for this particular score. And we'll establish where exactly he is and what he's doing when you need him. You can flash him. You can flashback him into place. All right. What about everybody else? Loads and what are we thinking?
I think since it sounds like we're trying to blend in, once we get this the narcotics out of here, I think I'll go light.
Okay, Laura's going light. That's 3 items.
Mm-hmm. I think Chime will go normal. She didn't end up using most of her items last time, but I think with the kind of types of activities that might be required to get this haul out of here, I think she'll need a little bit more help.
All right, that sounds good to me. Normal it is. And Needle.
I don't think Needle has ever considered bringing a normal load anywhere she's going light.
Sounds good. 3 items for light. All right. You have a few moments before you think it's likely for you to be noticed. So, what do we want to do? You've sort of been able to see this setup as you've approached in the gondola. The gondola is sort of you've pulled it right up onto the sand, and now you've sort of piled out of the gondola. You have a few moments to act before someone is likely to notice you.
You mentioned there was someone laying on top of the carriage. Did that look like a lookout or a guard, or did it look like somebody else trying to infiltrate the carriage?
It's hard to say just seeing a silhouette, but you could certainly spend some time trying to watch them. You could spend some time in observation, but you're not going to be able to move around through the junkyard much while you're doing that, so you will be stuck in place.
Yeah, I think I would be studying that person.
Okay.
And just trying to figure out from their movements what their motive or job here is.
Okay. I think it's probably survey, but if you had a different thought.
Yeah, survey works too.
Okay. So yeah, hit me with a survey.
Okay. That is a 4.
Okay. We're going to come back to that in a second. Clink, what are you going to do as the boat pulls up onto shore?
Desperately try and find somewhere not obvious and hope that I haven't been seen.
Okay.
I don't want to get fight again.
Yeah. I think your experience last time has led you to, as the boat is sort of pulling toward the shoreline, you're like looking for cover to
run.
Yeah. And you actually spot a big old chunk of You're not sure what it is. Some big old chunk of metal that looks misshapen and maybe melted on the edges. That's sort of leaning against like a pile of old refuse, and you're pretty sure you can make it over to that to get a better vantage point, maybe, or at least be better hidden from the rest of the rail yard.
Yeah, fantastic.
Or from the junkyard. So I would just say you do that. Yeah, you make your way over there, and maybe you'll see something. Noir, Needle, what are you thinking as the boat pulls up?
I think Noir is also surveying the scene, but he is looking specifically for any types of security measures beyond just the guards, like any kind of traps or devices or anything else that they have set up here.
Okay, that seems like a really good idea. Go ahead and what do you think? What do you think that what action is that? Probably also survey.
Probably, I think so.
Okay.
Are we doing position and effect?
Yes, we will do position and effect. I should give it. Sorry, if I don't say anything, it'll just be
Risky standard.
Risky standard, yeah.
Cool. If I pull on my dark sight mask, can I? What impact will that have on me?
I would give you greater effect.
Okay,
It would
fantastic.
improve the effect.
In that case, as we're pulling in, we see Noir pull this mask over his eyes. It's not a mask so much as it is just, it looks like a kind of black ribbon that he's like tying over his face. There are no eye holes. And yet, somehow, if we get a shot from his perspective, he can see, and the world is in this strange sort of hyper contrasted view where it's almost like shadow and light are reversed. So he can see into the darkness with perfect accuracy, and like anything that's light is like obscured.
Okay. Yeah. So risky and greater effect.
Greater. Cool. 5.
Okay. Yeah. You do it. You're able to sort of get out and scan the space. You pick out where several groups of these guards are, and you notice specifically 2 people who don't look like guards. They're just on the edge of some lamplight, and that draws your attention immediately, because they're wearing clothing that isn't the same as the clothing that the Red Sashes are wearing. They're not wearing sort of, fighting clothes. They're not wearing, sashes on their arms. They're wearing robes. And robes are not a commonly seen thing in Duskvol. Some people wear cowls and cloaks to hood themselves. These are actual, robes. And the color loss from your dark sight mask doesn't allow you to see the color of the robes, but they look like they're quite dark in color, and that these 2 figures wouldn't necessarily, who are speaking in hushed tones to one another, wouldn't necessarily be visible to anyone who wasn't wearing a dark sight mask, just because of the color of their cloaks and how they're blending in to the background. We'll come back to your complication in a moment, but the important detail here that you pick out is that there's a glint of light that you see come across something golden on the chest of one of these 2 figures. It's a badge of some kind. So that's the greater effect. All right, coming back to inspirations check. As you are observing this figure on the carriage, you realize something about it seems wrong, and not only does it seem wrong from the perspective of sort of the shape of the figure, but it seems wrong as in the figure seems to be made of shadow and not actually be fully in a human form. There's something very wrong with this shape.
I have a character ability, Ghost Mind, that I'm aware of supernatural entities in my presence.
It is a supernatural entity in your presence.
Okay, awesome.
There is
Oh, thank
something.
goodness.
There is something. There is something supernatural about this figure.
Yay!
So we're gonna get to Nora's complication here. The complication is that you realize that the cargo is about to be moved out, and you have a limited amount of time to figure out what you're going to do to get your share of the cargo, disrupt the move out of the cargo, or do whatever you're going to do. All you need to do is get it back onto the gondola, and your route is planned out. You're ready to go. All you need to do is get everything back onto the gondola. I'm going to start a 6-segment clock, and it's called "They're Outta Here." You have a limited amount of time to get these materials out. The two people are clearly here to start the process of getting the materials out of here, and getting it to distribution.
And I think Noir whispers to the others, "They're moving. We have to work fast."
All right, Needle, we haven't heard from you yet. Let's. What's the first step in the? What's the next step in the process?
So there's these two people who are working to move the stuff out. There's the supernatural entry on the roof, right?
The two people aren't doing anything. They just look important.
Okay.
And in the narrative, you haven't necessarily seen them yet, but of course Nora may have whispered that as well. But, for story purposes, they're there.
Okay. What are we doing here, friends? I don't have any good ideas for this approach. I was thinking a distraction might be valuable, but I don't think Needle's much of a distraction generally.
I'll tell you who's a distraction. But but it's very distracting.
Also, don't forget you can use a flashback to put something into place that you've done before now to set up something you want to happen now. But Bert is also certainly a distraction worthy of use.
That's true. However, I think Clinks might be a little bit selfish and keep Bert to take some bullets for him. But I think if they're moving the stuff by train, a fairly simple thing to figure out is that it's going to leave by train. So I think something that might be useful is have some explosives planted under the railway line leading out of here.
I was thinking the same thing. And I sort of have an idea for a flashback.
Okay,
Go for it.
so tell me what you got in mind.
Yeah, Needle has a friend, Nurix the prostitute. You've met her before.
Mm-hmm.
I think I asked Nurix to do me a favor earlier, where Nurix came to sell herself to some of the people, someone working on this train. And while she was there, she just set up these explosives for me that are timed to go off as we arrive to create the distraction.
That sounds great. I would describe the scene for the flashback, but you've already done it very, very well. So I am going to say that the cost for this is going to be 2 stress, because it is a fairly complex action that involves multiple moving parts. All you need to do is get Nyrix to actually do it. So the action roll would be however you're going to convince Nyrix to set these explosives for you.
I'll probably sway. We're friends. Come on, I've done you so many favors. Can you just do me this one little favor? This is a sway, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, go ahead. Yeah.
6 and a 1.
Well, 6 is a complete success. You do it. The effect is great, because I think the outcome of spending all this stress for a really great flashback. So I should have said it was risky and greater effect, but I think that's fine. So all right, so you spend your 2 stress. So take your 2 stress, and just describe the resulting explosion of the rail lines leading out of this facility.
As we get up and we start surveying the area, I look at my watch or clock expectantly, and as the clock hits, I don't know what time, we're doing this, let's say 10 p.m. or whatever, that seems fun. As the clock hits 10, I go wait for it, and then there's this giant explosion that blows the train tracks to smithereens. There's fire that pours out, metal flying everywhere. The guards all sort of run towards the explosion. They're terrified and screaming. Someone says, "What are we gonna do?"
Yeah, in fact, that old rusty gate, like, that was just hanging partly from the entranceway, that piece of gate just goes, like, scything through the air and slices, like, just crushes 2 guards. Like, 2 guards just standing there, like, huh? Boom, just like right through them, like a saw blade through their bodies, like just shredding them in half. They go down immediately. You hear bells in the distance. Guards start running everywhere. There's panic. The 2 figures that you saw, Noir, immediately start running into the darkness. Like they just duck off, like, away from the action. They had, like, whereas all these guards are heading, like, toward the explosion, these 2 figures, they start heading away. Not toward the carriage, just they start heading, like, you lose sight of them almost instantly. Head into the junkyard, into the, like, mix of piles and things. All right, there's been a massive explosion. How would you like to respond to this?
How has that supernatural entity responded?
It has not moved at all. You can still make it out as like a lump, like a form on top of the carriage, but it has not moved. Chime is, like, specifically staring at it and is aware of it as a supernatural entity. For the rest of you, like, if you look long enough, you can see a lumpy shadow on top of the carriage that doesn't fit its, straight, parallel lines. But you don't know what it is. It could be just some stuff up there.
I would give them a little nudge and let them know.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some interesting company, and it's not involved yet, but perhaps we might be able to use it to our advantage.
Well, it looks like you've bought yourself a little bit of time, at least.
Yeah, I think she's going to start making her way towards the carriage, trying to use the cover of people moving towards the fire to perhaps kind of skirt around to the outside.
Yeah, you're not going to need to prowl for this because the distraction is so good. All of you can move without being noticed for the time being. Is anybody not moving toward the carriage? Otherwise, I'll just assume as sort of a group you're heading in that direction.
Yeah.
No, I think we're all going. We got Bert too.
Yep, big
anyone
Bert
turns around and
somewhere
starts
around
shooting.
That's right.
I actually...
Yeah.
But might be noticed.
I do think that Noir is going to follow the 2 moved figures.
Okay.
Um,
So you want to move in a sort of different direction. You're probably going to have to head in a slightly different direction then.
yeah.
Okay. So you're going to kind of stalk after them. I am going to say it's going to be tricky to chase them through the junkyard stacks. So while you won't be noticed, I do need you to figure out how to follow them.
Okay.
You do need to track them somehow.
That is fine. Well, they're taking advantage of the relative darkness of the junkyard, but I am wearing my dark side mask.
Right.
So-
So it's more to the cover that you have to like track them through, like to make sure that you can still follow them, because there's just piles of junk everywhere. So like they're far enough away from you that as they sort of duck behind something, like you need to, you're not close enough to like get a new angle. So you're like trying to like, okay, they're probably there, and you know what I mean.
Yeah. So, a hunt roll, something like that.
I think hunt would be a good good possibility. There might be some others that you could do depending on how hunt is going to be following them, right? So if you're really trying to track them and follow them and stick with them, it's probably hunt. If you're just trying to watch them, it's maybe survey is another option.
Yeah, no, I think I am following them. So I will roll with hunt, which I don't have any dots in, so that's fine.
Okay, just with disadvantage.
I'll
you
push
could
myself
push
to add a
yourself?
die. Yeah.
Mhm. That sounds good.
Cool.
I would offer you a devil's bargain here. I don't have one in mind, but just thinking about possible devil's bargains. You can. What I'll say is the devil's bargain is if you expose yourself to potentially being detected by the guards, you can probably move more quickly and track them more efficiently.
That's alright.
Just push yourself.
Yeah, I'll just push
All right.
myself.
Sounds good.
For 3.
Okay. I should have given you position and effect as well, but I think it's probably just risky and yeah, I think that's fine. Risky and normal effect. I think I'm going to say you lose this opportunity. You don't rush quickly enough because you're trying to stay relatively hidden, and so you lose the opportunity to track them. You get to where you think they should be, but they're not there. So yeah, they've disappeared for the moment. Let's get back to everybody else. So as you approach the carriage, you're still not detected by the guards, but you do notice something move on top of the carriage, and then in a split second, it's gone.
Gone.
Yeah, there's a sort of shift towards you, and then a movement away, and you don't see the lumpy figure on the carriage anymore.
Happy we're gone.
Probably nothing that we need to worry about.
I
We have
think
loot to steal.
Yeah, we do.
Chime has been very focused on this figure since we stepped foot in the area. So my Ghost Mind ability says that I can attempt to gather information about the supernatural as well.
Absolutely can.
And I think I would try to gather information about what do they intend to do.
All right, that seems perfectly fine. It's controlled because your ability is allowing you to do this. Actually, I think I'll just give you this. I think I'll just give you this information. You've been observing it for a while. I don't think I need you to make a roll. Based on their positioning, based on the shape, it's doing one of two things, is what I'll say. It is either guarding the carriage against anything that approaches it, and it has seen you approaching and has dropped out of sight to ambush you, or it's trying to get into the carriage.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I would point it out to my team and say, be prepared for a potential ambush, but if it wants in as much as we do, I'm down to let it.
You approach the carriage. You approach the carriage, and you see the numbers on the side 634. This is definitely the carriage you are looking for. You see two things of note before something happens. The first thing of note you see is that the carriage, the door, the big freight door of the carriage, is chained closed and locked with a large lock. You can just see that right there. The second thing you notice is that there is a stamp on the side of the carriage, right on the center of the door. It is a hexagon with what looks like a B in the center.
Oh, good.
I'm sure that's nothing to be worried about. The next thing that happens is you hear a howl. A howl of metal on metal as something tears open the other side of the carriage.
That ain't great. I'd like to see if I can see underneath the carriage and maybe have a look at what's on the other side.
Yeah, that sounds like a thing to do. Go ahead and let's take a look and see if you can find out what this thing is. What do you wanna do here? You're just gonna drop down to the ground and look under the carriage?
Yeah. Maybe just a survey or a study or something.
I think survey is probably right. And because it's occupied doing something else, we'll say we'll give you this as controlled for normal effect.
4.
Okay. I'm gonna say that you are able to either withdraw and not stop and actually try to look, or you could do this with a minor consequence.
Minor consequence.
Great. So you drop down and look, and what you see underneath the carriage is something surprising. You see what looks like two big metal feet with legs extending upward from them. That's kind of strange. You're not sure what that's about. The complication is that Big Bert has not noticed that you have stopped and carries on toward the carriage, lumbering away. He's single-minded. You headed toward the carriage. He's continuing to head toward the carriage. So Big Bert is going over to the carriage.
Champion.
He's headed right over to the carriage right now, not bothering to look hidden at all, being Big Bert.
That sounds good to me. Good on you, Bert.
As you watch, these big metal feet disappear, one first and then the other, and everyone watches as the carriage tips slightly as something very heavy climbs into it.
There was metal feet in the side of the carriage. I think it's probably a hull. Probably. Yeah.
So, should we pick the lock and try to go in from the other side?
No. There's a robot torn the other door off. It's open. It's open. Yeah.
So
Well,
we're
I
gonna
think we
follow
have
the robot in
two
the other side.
Yeah, we can either pick the lock and meet it face on, or we can go up and over and in through
Pick
the hole
lock,
behind
open
it.
the door, empty carriage, or robot's torn the hinge off. We now have to rob a robot.
Well, while you all
Probably.
think about this hull, as Clink has mentioned, and we'll get back to what that is in a moment. Noir, you also hear this screeching noise of metal on metal, and you note that others may also, although they are currently occupied with a gigantic explosion and flames and screaming dead people, screaming and or dead people. Some of them have some of them some of them have also noticed the loud screeching noise of metal on metal.
I do despise the agonized screams of potential customers.
It looks like there's at least 3 of these red sashes who aren't injured yet, who are heading over toward the carriage.
From where I am, can I see the hull?
You can't see into the carriage. You're just at an angle where you can't see it.
Right. Okay. Let's see then.
But you're pretty sure the red sashes also have not seen it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I don't want to stop them.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I think... I want to kind of get close enough to see what has torn this hole in the side of the carriage. So, like, I'm sneaking around these piles of junk in the junkyard to, like, the opposite side of the carriage from the rest of the crew, so that I can get, like, a good view at what's happening inside.
Okay. I think I am going to have you make a roll for this. I think this is going to take an action roll. Up to you how you want to approach it. Probably prowl, but I'm open to other ideas.
Yeah, prowl is what I was going to suggest. Just try to remain unseen.
It's going to be risky for normal effect.
Okay, sounds good. What if I put on my fine shadow cloak?
It will be... because what the outcome of what you're trying to do is see into there, I would make it controlled for normal effect.
Sure. Great.
Okay.
I'll work my shadow cloak then.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Likelihood of detection is low.
It's a 5.
Okay, you can withdraw and try a different approach, or you can do it with a minor complication.
I'll take a complication.
Okay, great. So you easily make your way through these junk piles and manage to get to a place where you're opposite for the rest of the team, looking into the carriage. You can now see whatever this was that opened up this carriage didn't bother with the door. It just literally ripped a panel off the side. Like, it just ripped, like, open 2 panels on one side of the carriage. And you can see something moving around in there, but it's very dark. So even with your dark sight mask on, all you can see is sort of a lumpy kind of shaped figure, sort of moving. It's hard to distinguish the specific details. What I'll say is, as you reach the point where you like look in and can see it, you hear something moving off to your north, and as you look, you can see out of your corner of your eye you've caught those 2 figures again, but it does seem like time is counting down. So I'm going to add 1 tick on your "they're out of here" clock, and I'm also going to say that you have found the robed figures again. You've caught them. They're down toward the north corner of the junkyard. Okay. For the rest of you, did you decide on how you were going to approach this? I can assure you that you don't need to think about it too much longer. I'm going to say...
Chime
yeah, go ahead.
is most interested in... Like, we could try to break through this lock, but that will just put us face to face with it coming in from the other side. So I think she wants to go up and over and try to sneak in behind it through the hole that it made.
But we could pick this lock, and then we could leave Bert there while we sneak around to the other side.
That is potential.
As the 4 of you, including Bert, approach the carriage to do whichever of these plans you've decided on, the entire door, chain, lock, and all, comes flying towards you as it is just literally bashed off its rail. How do you want to react?
Drop to the ground as rapidly as possible.
Okie dokie.
Brenda's gonna try to roll out of the way.
Okay, roll out of the way.
I'd also like to yell for Bert to get out of the way as rapidly as possible.
Bert, no!
He might not be smart enough to know what's happening.
Chime?
I, similar to Needle, I will try to like roll to the side away.
Okay, this massive door comes flying towards you. So what we're gonna do is we're going to have a group action. So I'm going to need one of you to lead the group, and you're going to each of you is going to roll as participating in this group action. The best single roll counts as the action result, which applies to every character that rolled. So this is a teamwork effect. So you're all going to work together on this. So who would like to lead the group action? Doesn't really matter which of you it is, I assure you.
As someone who's fairly alert and aware of danger, I'm happy to scream and fall on the floor first.
Great.
And
We will follow our fearless leader.
So it's your choice of which action to use. You're the one who picks which action to use.
ooh, heck.
Probably prowl. Probably prowl.
Yeah. Yeah, prowl.
Climb, swim, run, jump, tumble.
Yeah.
That's probably right. All right. So all three of you can make a prowl roll, and you'll get the benefit of the.
And you, Bert.
If I have no dice in prowl, I roll with disadvantage.
You roll with disadvantage. Yeah.
He gets
Yeah. And unfortunately, you can't assist one another here. Although, if there was something you wanted to flash back and do, you could do that. Although I don't know how. I don't know how beneficial it will be.
I would like to flashback, actually.
Okay, great.
So I think, like, having acquired Bert's services and spent some time with him, I've come to learn that Bert hasn't quite reached the developmental stage where fire burning is staying in his head yet. So I think I need to train and teach us all with practice that when I yell for Bert to do something really loud, we should all probably do it. Because I want Bert to do it, I need him to know right now. And that means everyone else. Like, if I just yell duck, like, Bert's not gonna duck. I need to yell Bert duck.
Okay, so
that when we all duck when I yell for Bert.
So I'm gonna go ahead and make that a zero stress flashback because I think it's quite fun and funny, and I think that's okay. So this is going to be a desperate roll for normal effect.
So I also rolled with disadvantage, like Needle, and I got
great.
double fives. So 5 is my lowest.
Okay.
Great.
Can Brenna push herself to be better at this?
You can push. Yeah, you can absolutely push yourself and take stress to roll with +1 die. So you would make it then 1 die.
No disadvantage.
No disadvantage.
Yeah.
Yep.
I rolled a 1 anyway. Great.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's
got
less than
6,
that's less
thankfully.
than inspiration. Oh, you got a 6. Oh, fantastic. With a 6, not only do you all mark an XP because you've rolled a desperate action, so you can mark an XP in this for my brain has shut down. You can mark an XP on the action, but also you all successfully drop/tumble, including Big Bert, drop/tumbles out of the way. Everyone manages to avoid this massive piece of metal that goes flying over your heads and recover in time to see the massive metallic form. This one's not as big as some are. It looks like an amalgam of metallic components that is sort of almost like dripping shadow from its joints. Like it seems to be dripping these sort of dark shadows from its joints, and the sort of shadow, almost like a liquid, runs down the metallic appendages, arms, legs, body. You can see a pair of yellow eyes behind a strangely inhuman metallic face, built of riveted together metal plates. It doesn't have a mouth. It's just this sort of shape, if you will, and it's coated with and dripping shadows. It is holding in its hand a large piece of stone, which glistens with the flicker of what appear to be almost gemstone like colors. And as it stands there, it hops down from the coach and looks directly at all of you.
Oh, good. Do I take a stress for everyone who failed that move action?
No, because you succeeded it together. I think you do take a stress for each other person who participated in the group action, but I would need to look that up. So, we'll just say since you succeeded on it, we won't worry about it. Since it was nice, nicely cinematic, and you succeeded, we won't worry about it. Right? The metallic creature is looking at all of you. What do you want to do about it?
I know exactly what I want to do about it.
Great.
I'd like to. It makes no sense, but I'd like to open my coat, extract the sledgehammer that I brought with me, hand it to Bert, tell him to get to work, dismantling that thing.
All right.
Break it, Bert. God's sake.
All right. Well, I think that's probably command telling Bert what to do.
Yeah, happy with that. I'm bad at commanding though, but hey.
I can assist you with your command.
Oh, thank goodness.
I'll take stress.
Needle takes the stress to assist you. How are you going to?
Leaves,
how are you
leaves
going
off
to
my
help?
shoulder and goes, yeah.
Get him, Bert.
What a lad.
Yeah.
I'd like to tick 2 boxes of load for a large weapon.
Okie dokie, sledgehammer it is.
And hand it to Bert.
That works for me. Noir, you hear quite a bit of activity going on the opposing side of the carriage. You're going to have to make a choice. You've got guards that are coming in. You've got what appears to be a reasonably large hull, which is a robot powered by a poltergeist that appears to be in the carriage / getting out of the carriage, and you have these 2 mysterious figures.
It's powered by a poltergeist?
You would all know in general, hulls are a fairly rare construct in which a metallic sort of robot body has been brought to life with a ghost of some kind.
Okay. Well, I have an idea of what to do if Bert fails.
Noir, what do you
I have an
think?
idea if he succeeds.
We can give you a second. The others seem to have an idea about what they want to do if you need a moment.
No, I think I got it. I wanted to take care of the red sashes, so that to clear the path to the cargo, basically. Like,
Yeah,
if
that sounds good.
the
Yeah, there's
sashes
3 of
and the
them.
hull are taken care of, then I think I'm free, right?
Yeah, there's 3 of them approaching cautiously. You can see them; they can't see you. You have a complete drop on them. So.
Cool. I'm unwisely going to try to take them all out myself.
Exciting.
Yeah, I am going to mark. I have a blade or 2 in my equipment. I will go ahead and mark those. And I'm going to take advantage of the concealment of my shadow cloak to sort of pop out, knife glinting, and fight these guys.
I think this is an all or nothing kind of situation where either it's all going to go great and you're going to get all 3 of them, or if it goes badly, it's just not going to work. So what I think this is desperate for greater effect.
Sure, sounds good.
So you could go ahead and mark an XP as well. What action do you want to take?
I think this is probably wreck.
It's definitely wreck if it's going to be a savage sort of attack where you're just going to get in among them and tear them apart. Yeah, it could be prowl if it's an ambush, if you wanted to use prowl instead.
It is an ambush, and I do have more thoughts on prowl. Yeah, I'm cool with using prowl if that would work for you?
It depends on the narrative theming of what you want to do, but I think like you're really you have the drop on them. You're already used all of your stealth items, and I think even as it's still a dangerous ambush, because even if you're ambushing them, like you might get the first guy out of an ambush, but like 1-on-3 is extremely risky.
Right.
And once they know you're there, it's it's a fight. So
Yeah.
I'd like to help you out with this.
Ooh, please.
okay.
I'd like to have a little flashback to a training montage.
Ah, excellent.
In which I'm thinking, yeah, I got into a fight last time. I should probably at least try and learn to shoot straight. And I do miserably and hate it. And ideally never want to engage any of that rubbish ever again. And give up and then go and find Bert. And you get some use out of it.
Okay, so you and Noir have a training scene together. I think that's pretty exciting and fun, and I really like that. Can we just narrate like a little bit of the? Can we just narrate a little bit of the action? Just let the audience let the audience see what's this. How have you set up your like back alley here to have a little fight in?
I'm thinking like maybe like old rotten pumpkins and bales of hay and whatnot lying around. Maybe I think things like that. And I'm trying to aim carefully and try and look cool while I'm doing it, because I'm more about looking cool than actually shooting people. It's like customers. Keep saying to customers, I don't want to. Oh, can we just not shoot them, please? Oh.
Let's set it up as Noir. You walk in on this. Like you go out to have a smoke in the back alley, and here's Clink, like firing off pistol rounds at pumpkins, and like doing the gun sideways thing, like trying to look cool, and, like very clearly having no idea how to defend himself. So let's have this little scene because I think it's quite fun.
Cool, yeah, I think Noir watches with his back against the brick wall and his arms crossed over himself for a while, and then finally just goes, I don't think you're supposed to hold it like that. I'm not a great shot myself, but maybe just...
How do you mean? What do you mean?
No, straighter than that. It doesn't have to be sideways. The bullet doesn't move faster if you hold the gun sideways, just...
What? Oh, there's a little pan. You put the pan. Oh, it doesn't fall out of the pan if you do that. Brilliant.
Yes, brilliant. You're a genius.
All right, so we'll give you another. We'll give you +1 die on this as well, Noir.
Cool.
So let's see what happens.
It's a 5.
Okay, so you are successful. You rolled a desperate action, so mark an XP. The effect is going to be greater, but you either are going to suffer a serious harm, a serious complication, or have a reduced effect. And I'll let you choose.
Oh. So harm, complication, or reduced effect. I'll take a complication, whatever that might be. Yeah.
You leap out and get the drop on them. Your blade goes right through the throat of the first guy, slicing out. The second guy barely turns and notices you before you plunge your dagger into his chest. And then as you turn around and get behind the other guy, you get both knives into him and pull them free. It takes a little longer than you expected, and as you end up clear of them and the bodies fall to the ground, bells sound in the distance again, and you hear the cry of Deathseeker crows from the sky above you. Somewhere they're beginning to circle.
Oh, me poor customers.
There's another sound. And as you look down at the bodies in front of you, and at the bodies of the 2 guards that were sliced in half by the flying gate. You remember the fight you all had in the marketplace last time. And as if on cue, a bolt of lightning rips between 2 hunks of old garbage, big chunks of metal and concrete ripped from buildings and deposited here. And the lightning bolt between the 2 items sort of tears again to the ground and arcs again here and there. And there's a shrieking noise, a human voice shrieking as it was stabbed to death. It appears that the dead have something to say about your constant murdering, your crew's constant murdering, that is, especially the one who was killed in the marketplace, the one who took Needle's dagger to his throat.
They were trying to kill us. Seems very hypocritical of these ghosts.
An angry spirit has suddenly appeared. The air goes dry and crackles with static. Whisper, Chime, your whisper abilities immediately detect the presence of this being. You can react to it. It's in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I think she had already been starting to pull out her fine lightning hook and a spirit bottle, intending to perhaps be able to pull some of the spirit away from the hull, but feeling the presence of another one, and seeing Bert there with his sledgehammer at the ready, I think she's going to rush to the aid of Noir, following that sense of there's something over there.
Okay. You can see the ghost sort of forming in. It's not visible, but you can see its form just outlined by arcing electricity, electroplasmic energy, bits of flame bursting as garbage on the ground, as bits of flammable trash ignite and then are consumed. Little static flickers leaping to nearby objects of metal. You see static electricity along the edges of Noir's daggers, sort of crackling, and there's even like a spark that jumps between them. Clink, your big buddy, Big Bert over there, is being sent at the hull. I don't think we made our risky for normal effect command roll here, but you did get an extra die for on Needle.
Delightful. Yeah. Roll. Oh, Bert, it's a 3. Oh no.
All right. So
no.
Bert takes the sledgehammer, swings it at the hull, and the hull's arm just it literally just almost robotically just raises its arm, and the head of the sledgehammer lands in the hand of the hull, and the sledgehammer and Bert are flung. And by flung, I mean Bert's voice goes, "Whoa!" and you hear a splash. Bert has been flung.
Okay.
Bert has been flung from the junkyard through the air and into the water.
All right.
Maybe he can.
Here's I think.
That means he's alive. It's fine.
Here's I think our other option for dealing with this thing click between the two of us. I'm gonna take out a spirit bane charm, and I'm gonna tell the hole to drop it and leave.
All right.
That is a free ticky box.
Yeah, it's a free ticket box.
I would like to take my free ticky box as well, please.
Yeah. All right. That's fine. What do you think? What do you think we're doing? That sounds like a
Can you
command.
potentially assist me with this, Clink, so I can get an extra die?
I have another one, and I can stand there and look mean.
I'm gonna command this
And
thing.
more importantly, I can tick a box that's free assist.
This thing is substantially more powerful than you, and you are threatening it with what amounts to one of those little Japanese paper.
They don't like being near Spirit Fane charms.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. So this is desperate, but I will give you normal effect.
Hey, I'll tell you, get XP. Let's go.
I'm
I'm only helping. That's
Clink-
fine. I'm just helping.
Clink is assisting me, so I do get to roll with 2 die instead of 1.
You get an extra die for it. Take your stress there, Clink.
6 and a 1.
Describe how the hull drops the piece of hunk of metal and walks away. The hunk of stone and walks away.
The whole stares at me and like holding our spirit chains up. Listens to me ordering it to drop what it's carrying and leave, and you hear a shriek from the poltergeist as it stares at the Spirit Fane charms, and then it just drops what it's carrying and just starts fleeing away from us.
Yeah, this works, which is wonderful. It's one of my favorite things about Blades in the Dark. It works, despite the fact that this was impossibly desperate. The hull looks at the hunk of stone, drops it, backs away from the Spirit Bane charm, watches you as it backs away from the Spirit Bane charm, will not take its eyes off the Spirit Bane charm, continues backing away until it backs off between a couple of junk piles, and seems to be gone. There is a large hunk of strange rock on the ground. I think
I'm gonna pick that hunk of rock up.
I think I'm gonna describe it in this way. Also, I think I'm gonna say that you notice floating in the air where the sort of above where the rock was dropped, a trail of sort of glistening particulate, glittering in this sort of reddish gemstone color.
Well, I'm gonna pick up the rock.
Okay, yeah, it's a rock. You walk over. It's quite heavy. You pick it up. Yeah. There may be I will say there may be more in the carriage for you to investigate. It occurs to you, but you have a rock. You don't know if this is the thing you came to get. It's a thing.
We'll probably need more Bert if we need to carry more of these rocks.
Yes.
Yeah. I have no idea if Bert can float, never mind swim. I'm gonna get Bert.
All right,
I'll head into the carriage.
Okay, yeah, so Clink is gonna head down to the shoreline to see if he can find Bert, and Needle is gonna climb up into the carriage. Let's go back over to Noir and Chime, who are being it's walking towards you, and it's there's electroplasmic lightning, basically bursting off of it in almost every direction. I'm going to say, Chime, something you're aware of is an angry spirit like this, a vengeful spirit like this, probably can't manifest for long, but when it does manifest, it's very powerful for the duration of its existence. So you might be able to outlast it, but that's up to you. You have about a half a second before it does something really bad.
Yeah, I think in seeing the way that it's moving and the kind of electrofire coming off of it, I recognize something in the shape or the face of it as related to our previous victim, who had also been surrounded by fire as well in that square. And I think my first instinct is to try to keep its eyesight away from Needle. It's already angry, but it'll be infinitely more so if it catches sight of her. So I think I will lash out with my fine lightning hook that I am marking off, and try to catch it in like its head, I guess, and like pull its gaze away from the carriage where I know Needle is.
Sounds great. I think it's well, what kind of action are you going to use to do this?
I think it would be finesse to try to like catch it in like that specific part of the jaw. And
I think that's reasonably fair. I'm going to say this is risky for normal effect.
Okay.
Can I assist Chime?
Absolutely. Yeah. Feel free to jump in on that one as well. How do you want to assist?
I think Noir has his back to the carriage and is desperately fumbling for his own spirit-bane charm, saying some old, like, superstitious thing in Duskvol, to sort of help weaken the spirit.
That sounds good to me. Go ahead and take the stress, and it's +1 die.
Cool. Maybe 2. That is a 5.
Okay. You hook the creature, and now it's definitely focused on you. A burst of electroplasmic lightning that was intended for Noir coruscades down your lightning hook and hits you right in the arms. It is going to be a level 1 harm. Electrical burns. You can. You can't resist. You can't resist a harm because it's not a stress. No, you can roll. You can roll to avoid the consequence. So you can make a resistance roll if you want to attempt to avoid the harm and take stress instead.
Okay, I think I haven't taken a harm so far, so I think I will take that.
Okay.
Since I didn't remove
Instead
any
of
stress during downtime. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Yep. So we'll call it lightning birds.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. Noir, a bolt of lightning has just shocked Chime. How do you want to respond?
Is this spirit still manifesting, or?
It's still there. Yep. It's still bursting. It's still bursting with electricity.
Oh gosh. I think that Noir's first instinct here is to protect Chime. And he doesn't care, really, if he gets hurt. So I think he'll, like, step forward, like, kind of physical body shield, like, not even knowing if that's really effective against a spirit like this. But he will let it do what it will to him, in exchange for it, leaving. Like, he understands the desire, the, like, acute desire for revenge and, like, how quickly it can fade, once, like, you've gotten, like, one little taste of it. So he'll just, like, let the spirit do its thing to him and hopefully just leave after.
Okay. So, I think, I think this is going to be your attempt to either draw its attention or to reduce the amount of harm it does to you when it no, I think this is your attempt to draw its attention. Yeah, I think that's right. This is you drawing the attention of the spirit, and if you do draw its attention, then we'll see how we deal with its continued existence.
Sure. What is the position effect or ski standard?
Depends on what action you want to take, I think.
Sure. I think in a strange way, I feel like it's command. Yeah, we'll go with that.
I think it's risky and standard.
Okay.
I want to assist, but I think realistically Chime would not try to help you do this. So I think any assistance I would give would be preventing you from succeeding, not helping. if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think any complications that arise from this are probably going to be directed at Chime because you're specifically you're attempting to draw the spirit away from Chime. So I think that's what I'm gonna also say in advance. So
Sure.
risky and standard.
Okay. Can I make a desperate for greater effect?
Yes. If you
Cool.
make a desperate, yes, I will trade you a desperate for a greater effect here. Yep. And you
Awesome.
can mark it XP when you roll it.
And I will also take 2 stress to push myself.
Okay. Take the extra die.
4.
Okay. You completely it's interesting. Chime hooks the creature's face and turns it toward her, and the electricity crawls up the lightning hook, burning her hands. And then you sort of step forward, and go face to face with this creature that almost barely exists. It's almost, you only know it's there by the sense of emptiness in the space where it is. But you can feel its full focus shift onto you as you realize that it is angry at a particular person that isn't you. But the 3 deaths that you just caused have drawn its full ire. And it screams an etheric scream into your face, sending a shake through your whole body and causing your hearing to suddenly go empty. You take a severe harm of deafened. You can resist this.
Okay. I can't resist it even to...
You can resist. You can
Oh,
resist
okay.
it. Sorry,
I
I said you
see.
can resist this.
Yeah, I'll roll to resist that.
Sure. So you can reduce or avoid the consequence. I'll say you can reduce the consequence to tinnitus.
That makes sense, yeah.
Ringing ears, we'll say, 'cause it's more thematic.
Resolve?
I think resolve.
Yeah.
It has to be, yeah.
That's a 1. I forgot what that means for the resistance
So
roll.
it's 6. So you take 6 stress minus the highest die result. So you take 5. You take 5 stress, and we reduce the consequence. But you do automatically reduce the consequence. So it's not a failure, but it's the amount of stress that you trade to reduce the consequence. So you take 5 stress, and you reduce the consequence to ringing ears.
And that's a level
It's not a severe harm. It's a
2 or
level-
1?
It'll be a level 1 harm.
Level 1.
Ringing ears.
Ears. And I am taking a trauma, because that fills up my stress.
Ooh.
Oh boy. It's happening.
Think about maybe think about an appropriate trauma from this, and we can talk it through in a full campaign. Obviously, we'd have a chance afterwards to kind of think about it. But yeah,
Oh,
If
I
you
know
have
exactly
something
what
in
it is.
great, hit me.
So I think to add a little detail to the intervention here, Noir has his dagger out as though he's stabbing the spirit, but it's insubstantial, right? What he's really doing is trying to make some kind of connection with it. He can feel the electric energy kind of moving up the blade and toward himself, and he just meets its strange ghostly eyes with his own, and just shakes his head and says, "Not her." And that's when Scream comes, and I think Noir can't recognize this right away, but perhaps Chime can. Some bit of the spirit in this moment of connection is going to linger with Noir, and I'm going to take the trauma haunted. He has literally a passenger with him within his body now.
That sounds awesome. I love that. Cool. All right, let's get back to Needle and Clink. Clink, you rush down to the water's edge. You still hear the tromping away of this strange mechanical spiritual amalgam. But you see flailing out in the middle of the water, it's Big Bert. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to make it to you in a reasonable amount of time. You might be able to pick him up in the gondola on your way. For some reason, he also seems to be trying to paddle with a sledgehammer, which is a choice he's making.
But drop the sledgehammer.
He's very busy. He seems occupied with his.
Has Bert just been dealt with? Bert's been dealt with. We'll pick him up later on.
He seems to be might be a pickup later on type situation for you.
All right, see you later, Bert. At least he's just about breathing. He's flailing around with a sledgehammer and not sinking. That's good.
He's big enough. He's big enough to be buoyant. That's what I would say.
Excellent. Big lungs on him. Lots of air in there. Keep him on the surface.
Needle, let's go over to Needle, and then we'll come back to Clink. Needle, you climb up you're the first into the carriage. Of course, it's been, shredded, and you see several smashed crates. There's vials, and there's some powder floating in the air as well. You suddenly realize, as you sort of glints of light sort of come through the air, it looks like the hull smashed through quite a few crates here. But the ones that you do see stacked up appear to have more. You see one on top that's sort of that's sort of torn open, and you see more of these stones, like the one you're holding in your hand. They seem to be some sort of material that's been brought in from the Deathlands outside of the city. And the crates are... There's 6 crates remaining undestroyed. And they're all marked with the same hexagon with a B in the center symbol that you saw on the outside of the carriage.
I don't know what that symbol means.
You might know. How tuned into the city's merchant class are you?
Probably decently. Like that seems sort of the sort of thing that I could be using for both criminal and revolutionary purposes.
Yeah, I think it's possible. You're pretty sure that this symbol is the symbol of one of the most powerful groups in the city. One that might potentially in the future try to gain some leverage over your crew because of this, due to an entanglement from earlier. This is the property of the Hive, which is a massive smuggling operation, illegal contraband operation. A guild of merchants who secretly trade in contraband. They are named for their symbol, which is a golden bee. And putting 2 and 2 together, it might have been who was hanging out here earlier. Those little guys from earlier. Yeah. But the crates are exposed here. You've got 6 of them. Also, you get there's a strange metallic tang in the air, possibly from this dust that's all floating around.
I would prefer not to be inhaling that.
Okay, you should probably do something about it.
What the hell would I do about this?
I don't know. What would you do about it in real life?
I'd probably put on some sort of cloth, but I don't seem to have any cloth in my loadout.
I think we can all agree that you could probably have a piece of cloth.
All right, I put a piece of cloth over my nose and mouth to avoid inhaling any of this drug.
Seems like a great idea. Yeah.
And I probably can't carry more than 1 or 2 of these crates, I imagine.
Yeah, you could probably move 1. Yeah.
All right. Bert, you were supposed to be the person to carry these crates.
Clink, you roll. Clink, I'll say you roll up on the carriage just as Noir and Chime kind of come around the back corner, looking slightly worse for wear. You two seem to have come out largely unscathed. The other 2 seem to be quite scathed.
Thanks to scathe have occurred.
Yeah, some scathing has occurred. The junkyard is largely in chaos now. Some of this has gone noticed / unnoticed by the various different Red Sashes gangers. Some have run off, some are fighting fires, some are dragging bodies around. It's mass chaos. There are 4 of you remaining, however, so you could move 4 of these crates fairly easily before things turn out quite bad.
Yeah, I'll take a crate and bring it back to the gondola.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if anything on the equipment list would work. I'm scanning all the bits. I'm trying to find something that might help move crates, like perhaps a crowbar to leave them off the floor so you can get a hand under them better. Maybe something we could roll them around on.
Yeah, I think I would have
like
prepared for this in a flashback and maybe brought like a little like hand dolly or something that was in the gondola.
I think that makes sense, and I think we can set that up without too much trouble. Let's just call it a zero stress setup. Again, I don't think that that's something that makes a lot of sense in the story, in the narrative.
Right.
That you knew you were going to have to move stuff, so you brought something to move it with. So we'll say you can move all 6 crates. Unfortunately, the rest of the cargo has been destroyed by the hull.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Seems fine.
I think that when we approach the crates initially, I'm going to see Needle with a cloth over the face, and not think about it too much, and just focus on moving the stuff.
Okay.
And maybe breathe some of it in by mistake.
Okay, that's a good thing. That's a good thing to know. I'm gonna start a secret. I'm gonna start
it's the goods. You gotta move the goods, right?
I'm gonna start a secret clock called "Breathe It In."
Incredible.
Okay. Does anybody else not cover their face before they climb into the carriage, seeing what Needle has done?
I think Noir's not really all here right now, so he probably doesn't either.
Alrighty. Sounds good. All right, cool. So you load up the carts onto the crates onto your cart. Yeah.
Needle is gonna tell Noir to put on the cloth. Noir is a Scolvin. She cares about that. She's not gonna bother telling Clink. He's not a Scolvin.
Gotta move the goods. Gotta move the goods.
I think you can put a cloth over your face if you want, Nora, but I think you feel a certain resistance to it coming from something inside.
Then I think for now he listens to the voice inside him rather than Needle.
Damn it.
Deep breaths, everybody. Deep breaths. You load the cargo into the gondola, make your way out into the water. I assume Big Bert is being pulled into the gondola somehow, or shall we just leave him to paddle his way?
I do want to do the rest of Bert.
All right.
He's a good lad.
And due to everything you've done thus far, there is no pursuit. You gondola your way through the canals and disappear into the traffic of the city of Duskvol at night.
Well, thank goodness.
Another successful job with no complications.
That's
And because all the murdering happened away from me, no one died. Boom.
There you go. The team's body count has risen slightly.
What? When? When?
Like double. It's fine.
It's at 9 across 2 scores, which is great. But we will just do a little bit of the old post game wrap up. So we're gonna take a quick look at what happens at the end of a score. And I am largely vamping so that I can get to the page that I need for the payoff. There we go. Okay, so the payoff. Your crew is going to earn 2 reputation by default. Of course, you always earn 2 reputation by default on any score. But the target of this score was a substantially higher tier, which means that your crew is actually going to earn plus 3 additional rep. Which is an increase in rep by 5, which should move your crew up to tier, which should move your crew up from tier 0 to tier 1 after this score. The coin reward that you arranged with the lampblacks is 6 coin. It's a standard score, decent loot. And so you're going to be able to share that amongst yourselves and with your crew. So that's an additional 6 coin. We need to think about heat for the operation, and I'll let you all think through this. After any conflict, the crew takes heat. So do you think this was a smooth and quiet, low exposure job, a contained and standard exposure job, a loud and chaotic high exposure job, or a wild and devastating exposure job?
So a low exposure job, obviously.
There was some explosion involved.
There was an explosion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
minimum
not where
one
we
explosion.
were.
Uh-huh.
I think it's loud and
No,
chaotic
but
for
it-
sure.
I
We
think
did also leave some witnesses, so you
And
know.
bodies
I
behind.
think it was loud and chaotic, and we do add 2 heat if killing was involved, so the crew will gain 6 heat for this job.
Seems ridiculous. I didn't even shoot. I thought I would try to shoot any straggler as we left, but I didn't.
So the crew can roll. Roll for entanglements. We won't do that for this session, of course. And then we would do downtime. But yeah, so the crew has gotten revenge on the red sashes, made off with their precious cargo of something. Have found out that bigger players seem to be involved, perhaps answering the question of who exactly is coordinating all these lower tier gangs in an operation of this size, and discovered that there's even some supernatural intrigue as well. I just wanted to get everybody's I hope everybody enjoyed this. I wanted to get everybody's kind of final thoughts on this little short campaign that we did. Blades in the Dark usually runs 8 to 10 sessions. We could carry on from here and explore the various different entanglements that you've gotten into, and with the level of heat you have right now, there's a good chance of some very serious shows of force from other gangs, or potentially even someone being arrested and having to make a second character to be involved in the crew, which is a typical.
I
thing
always
that
have
happens.
more characters. That's fine.
Yeah, it's a typical thing that happens in Blades. The crew grows as some characters get arrested. One of the very cool things about Blades in the Dark, for those who don't know it, is even when you're arrested and are in prison, you can actually continue to expand your influence within prison. There's actually a mechanic for expanding your influence inside, on the inside as well. So that's pretty fun. But I wanted to open the floor to anybody to give some kind of nice little wrap up thoughts here. I don't know if we'll explore these characters or this campaign more. Our intention was to sort of do two sessions, but maybe we'll come back to them. We'll see. But I'm happy to, if anybody else has anything they kind of want to say before we sign off.
Yeah, no, if people enjoyed this and want us to make more with these characters, I'd probably be happy to do so. These were some fun characters. But, yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely been enjoying it. It's one of my least violent individuals that I've made for the Blades game. It's been nice.
Yeah, this is my first time actually playing Blades in the Dark. Like, I've played other, Forged in the Dark, Powered by the Apocalypse type of games. But I always love games where most of the time you're getting a complication, and that's what rolls the story forward. And I think in a short two-shot like this, like, obviously you're kind of focusing more on, like, the events of the story. But I loved kind of seeing the like moments of like character interaction slipping through too, and in a longer campaign being able to like build on that more as you kind of suffer through those consequences together.
Yeah, one thing I do like about this system is that in the moment where something's gone wrong, the easiest thing for you to do is to create a problem for future you to solve, rather than I get stabbed in the chest or something. It's like, do I do that? Nah, I'll have the police hear me. I'd have to deal with the police in a minute. So it's just so ongoing with all the problems.
I'm a big fan of Blades in the Dark, and I had a lot of fun with this. I think I agree with Inspiration that the character interaction moments were some of my favorites. I really enjoyed also seeing little glimpses of character backstory, like Chime interacting with her parents. I really enjoyed having that little scene with Needle, so that we could kind of explore our shared background. That was a lot of fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, I tried to keep this. I love the like world of Blades in the Dark. There's a lot more lore and there's a lot deeper stuff here that you can explore, and a lot of descriptive stuff. I tried to keep this fairly simple and accessible because I didn't know how well our audience knew, Duskvol, and I tried to kind of sort of keep it a little bit loose and narrative, just because I think that's easier for the audience to access, and this is kind of the first time we're doing this. And I will say, this isn't the last time we're going to do an RPG live play, or an actual play, I guess. We're intending to do more of these, as long as everybody likes them and wants us to keep going. We may not do Blades in the Dark. We may look at other systems. I know Emma and Elle are big fans of The Between. Inspiration and I have also played that and have enjoyed it a good bit. I'm very excited about the Wild Sea. I know there's a group on the server that really loves Worldwide Wrestling, all of which are games that really make for a really fun and engaging campaign. So, with that, thanks everybody. Thank you to Inspiration Follows, Emma, Elle, and Gandaldor the Wizard for
also
joining
Nina,
us.
who's editing for us.
Yep, thank you
Nina's
very
daughter,
much, Nina.
Who's created some of the art for this.
Yeah. Thank you. Big thanks to Nina's daughter who created the character portraits, which are just fantastic. With that, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.